Hello readers and writers of the internet, welcome back. So I am sorry about the long wait between videos. Things came up and I've been very busy and stressed out where I unfortunately could not film, so this is the first chance that I have at filming and I'm taking it. I also kind of struggled with what video to do. I wanted to do like a 5-star predictions, but I was like, I can't really do that for the new releases because most of them come out in hardback, and I don't read hardback. I only read paperback, so I can't do that because I won't know until like next year. And then I felt like if I went through my current TBR and Goodreads, I would just be repeating myself again and again and again. I'm like, I don't want to do that. And then I'm like, let's just do a January release, because I also thought about doing a top 10 most excited books of the year, which I did that video last year. I'll link that up there for you guys. But I also thought, I'm like, that's kind of redundant too, because I end up just repeating myself in like future videos. So I'm like, let's just do it by months. It's fine. So we're gonna do it January 2022 new releases. A Flicker in the Dark by Stacy Willingham. This one actually came out the 11th of January, so it's already out. This one is a murder mystery. It is about a girl named Chloe, and she lives in a small town in Louisiana, and there's a serial killer on the loose that is kidnapping young girls and then killing them, and her father is arrested and put into prison. 20 years later, she's moved on. She lives somewhere else. However, another girl ends up going missing and appears dead, so she has to try and unmask yet another killer while also trying to prove her father's innocence. This one is very interesting to me. I've kind of heard it before. I've heard this all before, this scenario, but I don't know. It's something about the kind of southern background to it that makes it kind of unique. There's a show that I watched. It's like Louisiana Murders or something like that. It's real murders, and this is what it kind of reminds me of. I'll put a picture up there if I can find the show. It is very good, and there's a book based off of it that I low-key kind of want to read. But anyway, that's what it kind of reminds me of, and it's kind of refreshing that it's not going to be taking place in a big city. And like, I know this is a small city or small town, but it also seems like it's not going to really follow that cliche of like small town big secrets, which is not my favorite in mysteries. I don't know, just because it is, I don't know, the setting just makes me believe that it's not really going to go down that path. Which is really unique. There's one other book that I've read. It was a mystery thriller. It's Where the Crawdad Sings by, I forget, Owen something? I forget who wrote it, but it was very good. I gave it 5 stars. That one also took place in Louisiana, I believe, and it was very good. I really, 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 really liked it. So I'm really high hope for this one, and the cover is absolutely beautiful. Daughter of the Moon Goddess by Sue Lynn Tan. This one came out January 11th, so again, this one is out. And before I get into the synopsis of this book, I was going through lists that come out in 2022 as the year as a whole, and what I've realized is, and this isn't a bad thing, I just was like, oh, that's cool, is that a lot of YA fantasy or even adult fantasy are now focused around like that Chinese or Japanese lore instead of typically what we see in terms of westernized European medieval setting, which I actually don't mind that setting. I quite prefer it just because it's so depressing. So I don't know a lot about like the Chinese setting. I want to read the Poppy War, but I just haven't gotten around to it. So hopefully this can like reintroduce me into like a new setting that I really like. Lee Bardugo kind of did that with Russia. That's what the Grishaverse was set in. It was like a Russian fantasy. So it was similar but different. Anyway, so this one follows a young girl named Zingen. I have no idea. I'm just gonna call her Zin. I'm just gonna call her. I don't know how to pronounce that X at the beginning. Zin? I'm just gonna call her Zin. So she actually lives on the moon with her mother. Her mother was banished for trying to steal the Emperor's immortality elixir. Ends up on the moon, and then one day they are attacked, and Zin has to flee, and she actually ends up at the castle and trains along the Emperor's son, learning archery and magic about that stuff. However, she also has to go on a big quest to kind of help her mother, and you come across all these mythical creatures. Again, that's going to be something new for me because I do love mythology, but I mainly love just Greek mythology, not even Roman mythology, Greek mythology. I love that. I've never really been accustomed to Chinese mythology, Japanese mythology, Norse mythology, besides like the Marvel movies, Irish mythology even. I just don't see a thing for it. I've done some research for some of my books in terms of mythology and creatures that I could add in, so that's about all that I know. But like, this is gonna be interesting. I really want to see what kind of creatures there are, what kind of lore there is. And I most likely will end up looking up these creatures as I read them just to see what is happening. But yeah, this one looks very, very, very promising, very new, very unique, and the cover is beautiful. My one concern, however, with this one is that, I don't know, you kind of get like 3 setups. You get like the moon, and then the outcast, the castle stay, and then the quest. I'm like, are they gonna kind of be combined? Like, is the prince gonna go on the quest with her? If not, that's fine, but like, I can just see that, like, this book being very split into 3 harsh sections, you know? Just like moon, escape, prince, castle, quest, you know? It's like, it's not that big of a deal. It's just there was a lot to take in. I'm like, are these going to be combined in any way? Like, what's going to happen? It's not even a concern. It's more so just a thought, really. Echoes and Empires by Morgan Rhodes. This one came out January 4th, so it's been out for quite a bit. The one concern before I even get into anything is, for such a new book, it already is standing at a 3.68 rating, which is not the best, especially for a new release. Typically the rating lowers after you get all the excited people and the fans out of the way, and then you just have more, you know, you don't really have the beta readers to do it anymore. So that's always kind of concerning. I still want to read it. The only way I won't read this book is if the rating drops even more, like below a 3.5. I'll just be like, nah. But anyway, this one follows a young girl named Jocelyn, and she lives in a world where magic is illegal and very, very, very dangerous. However, one day, by mistake, she is held up in a robbery, and she ends up getting magic put into her that allows her to step into memories of people, specifically the most evil warlock there is. She wants this magic gone. It's very dangerous, so she teams up with a young man named Jericho, who is a thief, and he says, I'll get rid of this magic for you if I get it in return. So they have to team up. I can already see a romance blossoming between the two. This one, I don't know, like it seems fresh enough, you know, but my one concern is that it revolves around what seem to be warlocks and stuff like that, which isn't my favorite magic system. I've read a few books involving it. I don't mind it. It's just not my favorite, you know. And like, I kind of want there to be a twist revolving around like the magic is dangerous, because we've gotten that in a lot of books, and I really do love that trope. But we have it in Strange the Dreamer, Six of Crows, Crooked Kingdom, Wicked Saints, The Midnight Lie, We Hunt the Flame, There Will Come a Darkness, to an extent, Hall of Smoke, Stormcrow, kind of partly, Savage Song, The Grey Seer, Caravel. Like, it's just in so many books, you know? Which isn't a bad thing. Again, I do like that trope. But I just kind of want there to be, like, more so, like, a reason about it. I want there to be like not just the fear of the magic. I want there to be like, I don't know, like obviously this is not going to be the case, but I want like, I don't know, maybe 10 years prior there was a huge like explosion that killed an entire city and was caused by magic. I don't know. Anyway, that's my really concern. That's really my only concern about the book. Cover's absolutely beautiful. Yeah, can't wait for it. Real Easy by Mary. I don't know why that name just like made me stop and like ponder for a second about my life. But like I just forgot what the English alphabet and how to sound out words was. Rutkowski, I got that one just fine. This one comes out January 18th, so this one is not out as in when I'm filming this video. But this one is kind of different. It follows a girl named Samantha who actually works at a strip club. And she helps a newer dancer who's very clueless about the things, so they just want to, you know, partner up, get money, create a friendship, that kind of stuff. However, one day the new dancer is like, hey, can you give me a ride home? And Samantha's like, sure. And then that turns deadly. We actually switched povs, it seems, to Georgia, who is another dancer who I believe it sounds like she was friends with Samantha, or at least knew them, and she kind of teams up with a detective named Holly. However, the more involved she gets, the more it looks like she is a suspect, but all she wants to do is help. So I can kind of see that cat and mouse game going back and forth. I'm not gonna lie, I'm still kind of confused about like who's died. All it tells me is like, the new girl needs a ride home, Samantha agrees to drive, simple decision that turns deadly. That's all I'm told. Like, I don't know if the new girl killed Samantha. I imply so, just because her name hasn't been listed. But at the same time, it's like, it's pretty obvious that she would be the new girl. Anyway, I don't know if they both get killed, if Samantha kills the new girl, that's the one thing I'm kind of like shady about. I'm like, who's died exactly? But that doesn't really matter. I just know that someone has died, really. But yeah, this premise does seem very interesting. I can't say I've read a lot of murder mysteries that revolve around dancers, exotic dancers to be precise. Typically, you follow a family that has their life together and everything just falls apart. And just from like the description of the club, this seems like it's gonna be one of those clubs where it's, you know, very shady, kind of an abusive work environment, but the girls can't really get out, which, yes, is a real thing that happens. But yeah, that's what kind of seems like, and so, like, it's very interesting. Like just the premise alone and the setting alone, like, captured my attention. I was like, I really don't care what this book is about. Like, I'm going to read it. That and the cover is really pretty. I love the pink and the green. That's really all I can say about this book. I'm really excited for it. Yeah. The Maid by Nita Prose. This one came out January 4th, so it's been out for quite a bit now. This book follows a 25-year-old girl named Molly. And she is a maid at a very nice hotel, and she actually really likes her job. She struggles with a few social cues, but she enjoys like cleaning and stuff like that. So it helps relax her. However, one day she goes into a hotel room, a very rich and famous guy named Charles Black, and he is dead in the bed. And because of her demeanor just being so weird and like her missing certain social cues and stuff like that, she automatically becomes a suspect. This one, again, like the murder mystery premise we've kind of heard before, but I love this kind of twist of the social cue aspect of being like missing from it. I don't know why, that's just so interesting for me. I love like reading I don't know, books, especially YA books that deal with like anxiety and like social anxiety and stuff like that, and just not knowing how to cope with the situation and process your emotions. I love it when that happens in a book. And yeah, this does follow a 25-year-old, but like you can still see you can be old. You don't have to be a teenager to have social anxiety or anything like that. So like, you know, it's going to be interesting seeing it from a adult's perspective who doesn't have parents to like rely on, or siblings to rely on, or like a high school that's like a constant for them, you know. It's like this 25-year-old woman who's by herself, who's just like struggling to like stay alive, you know. So that's very interesting for me. I really like the cover. The simplicity of it is like really good. I love the main character's name. It's a very pretty name. I love it very much. But yeah, this one I'm really excited for. Even before this one came out, like I don't know why, but I thought this book was already out like before January, because Goodreads was hyping it so much. Like they were giving me like ads and stuff like that, and like click-ons and everything like that. So I'm like, oh, cool, it's a new book that's getting a lot of hype. It wasn't even out at that time. They were just promoting it like crazy. But yeah, I'm really excited for that book. The Ivory Key by Shaya Raven. This one came out January 4th, so it's been out for quite a bit. This one is a fantasy book, and it follows a young girl named Vera, who is actually in line to be the next queen, and their kingdom relies on magic to keep them safe. However, their magic is dwindling and bad forces are coming and they need it. So there is one thing that can help them, which is the Ivory Key. She has to reunite with her siblings, who all want different things. One wants to sell it, one wants to prove that they didn't assassinate someone, and then another one wants the key to prove her loyalty to the rebels and bring down the nobility. So this one already has me. I've talked about this before, but I absolutely love the like royal and nobility, just I don't even like game, you know, like the politics of it. I love the politics of special fantasy. I don't know, I just love it. Like the setting, you know, it's medieval-esque, you know, so you have that certain element into it, and then you bring in magic or whatnot. I just love the politics of it so much, and this seems like it's going to be perfect, especially with the siblings. And it's also kind of nice to see that she's already in a position of power, and it's not like, I don't know, she's going to steal the throne or anything like that. Like, she's already there. She just needs to save her kingdom and bring back her siblings. I can see that being very good, and a lot of just tension building, especially because they are siblings who all want different things, not just like, oh, he's my friend, we grew apart. It's like, no, this is my brother, this is my sister. Like, they're trying to kill me, and I'm trying to save my kingdom. Like, come on, you know, I can see that being very interesting. It doesn't state how old they are, but I assume them to be teenagers, so hopefully that'll bring about like some funny stuff. I don't know. But yeah, this one is very, very like interesting. It's definitely on the top of my list, not only for this month, but for the entire year. I can't wait to read it when it comes out in paperback. The cover is not my favorite, but it's still pretty. It's just not typically like what I like for a fantasy cover, but it is still very pretty. I am very, very, very excited for this book. And that is it for the new releases of January 2022. I cannot believe that we're in the new year. The previous year didn't feel real. Again, I do sincerely apologize for this long gap. I've been doing my best to make a video. I just have not had time to do it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys want me to do a top 10 releases of the year, I definitely can. If not, no big deal. Just let me know what you guys want, as well as like the 5-star predictions. Again, just let me know what you guys want. And if I missed a book that you were excited for to come out in January that I did not cover, let me know down in the comments below, and I'll definitely give it a look on Goodreads and tell you my thoughts about it. Also, let me know down in the comments below some of your favorite books or your most anticipated books that you want to come out this year. I'll be very interested to see what you guys have to think, whether or not we disagree or agree. This year looks very promising. Again, like I said, the fantasy, especially YA fantasy, it seems to be taking a loop into the Chinese lore and mythology of things, so that's very interesting. So I can't wait to see what happens there. Hopefully I like it, just because so many books are coming out with that like premise, so hopefully I like the Chinese lore. I don't know, I haven't read anything like that, but fingers are definitely crossed. Thank you as always for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And that means the world to me if you follow me on all my other social media, such as Instagram, Facebook, and my reading platforms. Those will be listed down in the description below. And I will see you in the next video. Bye!